My name is Anna. I am 28 years old. I never planned to fall in love this way. It started as a joke, a silly prank from my friend Maya. She always said I needed to talk to someone new. One evening, she took my phone, laughed, and sent a voice message to a stranger on an old group chat we both forgot about. "Hello, mystery man," she said into the phone. "My friend Anna is single and bored." I was embarrassed. I told her to delete it. She just laughed and said, "Maybe he will reply." I thought he wouldn't. I forgot about it. But the next day, he did reply. His name was Peter. His voice was warm. He said, "Hi, Anna. I'm Peter." This made me smile. Thanks for the surprise. I didn't know what to say. I listened to his message twice. I didn't reply for a day. I wasn't sure. I asked Maya if I should. She said yes. So I replied. I kept it short. "Hi. Sorry for the weird message. My friend was joking. But, hello." That was it. I didn't expect more, but Peter sent another voice note. He said he liked my voice. He said he didn't mind the joke. He asked how my day was. That's how it started. We sent short messages, voice notes, texts, every day. We didn't talk about big things at first, just silly things. How the weather was, what we ate, songs we liked. He liked old jazz. I liked soft piano music. He sent me a song called Autumn Leaves once. I listened to it at night while brushing my hair. I smiled without knowing why. He was kind, funny, soft-spoken. I started looking at my phone more often, waiting for his name to appear. I didn't know him, not really, but it felt easy to talk to him. Weeks passed, then months. Still just messages and voice notes, but they became longer, deeper. He told me about his job. He worked in a small bookshop in another city. He loved old books. He told me about his favorite one, a story about two people who write letters across a war. He said the book made him cry. He asked if I liked books too. I said yes, but I mostly read stories online. He laughed and called me Modern Anna. I liked that. No one ever gave me a name before. One evening, after 3 months of talking, Peter said, "Can I call you?" I froze. We had never spoken live before. Only messages. I said yes. My heart was beating fast. I didn't even brush my hair. I just picked up the phone. His voice was clearer now, warmer. He said, "Hey." I said, "Hi." Then we both laughed. That night we talked for 3 hours, about nothing and everything. It felt like I had known him for years. After that, we spoke on the phone every night. One night, Peter said, "I think I'm falling for you." I didn't know what to say. My chest felt full. I said, "Me too." And it was true. I didn't see his face. I never met him, but I knew his heart, and he knew mine. We were close, closer than people who see each other every day. Our words were the only bridge between us, but that bridge was strong. We decided to meet. After 5 months, we picked a small town between his city and mine. I was nervous. What if the real person didn't match the voice? What if he didn't like me in real life? But the moment I saw him at the station, all fear left me. He looked just like his voice. Soft, calm, warm. He held a small flower in his hand. "For you," he said. "You're real," I whispered. He smiled. "So are you." We spent 2 days together, walking, talking, sitting in cafes. We didn't need much, just time. He told me about his dreams. He wanted to write one day. I told him I used to write poems in school. He said, "I'd love to read them." That night, in the small hotel room, we sat on the floor, sharing music from our phones. We didn't kiss. We didn't touch. But it felt more intimate than anything I had known before. It felt like home. After the weekend, I cried on the train home. He texted me the whole way. "Don't cry," he said. "I'm still with you." And he was. Every day. Until he wasn't. One day, Peter's messages stopped. First, a few hours of silence, then a full day, then 2. I sent him messages. I called. Nothing. I thought maybe something bad happened. I waited. My heart started to hurt. After 5 days, he sent one short message. "I'm sorry, Anna. I need to go away for a while. Please don't wait for me." That was all. I couldn't breathe. I didn't understand. Why? What happened? Was it me? Did I do something wrong? I didn't sleep that night, or the night after. I kept checking my phone, hoping for a message. Nothing came. Maya told me to let him go. She said maybe he wasn't real. But I knew Peter was real. He was the most real thing in my life. Weeks passed, then months. I stopped talking about him, but he was always in my mind. Every voice note was still in my phone. I listened to them sometimes. I missed him. I missed how he said modern Anna. I missed how he laughed at his own jokes. I missed the way he made silence feel soft, not empty. I wrote him a letter, even though I had nowhere to send it. I wrote, "I miss you. I don't know what happened, but I hope you're okay. I hope you're safe. I still love you." I started walking in the evenings. I walked past the same bench we used when we met. I sat there, watching people, listening to the world move. I was quiet, not sad, just waiting. But I didn't know for what. maybe for peace, maybe for an answer. Then, one day, something arrived. A letter. A real one. Not a message. Not an email. A paper letter. It had no name. Just my address. My hand shook as I opened it. The first line said, "Anna, I never stopped loving you, but I had to disappear. Before I share the rest of my story, I need to know, where are you listening from? Knowing someone hears me, understands me, gives me strength." I read the first line again. "Anna, I never stopped loving you, but I had to disappear." My hands were shaking. My heart was loud. I sat down on the floor and read the letter slowly, word by word. It was Peter. His handwriting was small and soft, just like his voice. He wrote, "I didn't want to hurt you, but I was not strong enough to stay. I found out something about myself, something I didn't expect. I was sick. The doctors said it was serious. I didn't know how to tell you. I covered my mouth. I could not believe it. He had been sick, and he never told me." I read on. "I wanted to protect you from the pain. I didn't want you to worry. I thought I could just go away and make it easier. But the truth is, leaving you was the hardest thing I've ever done." I felt tears fall down my face. I read the next part out loud, like a whisper to myself. "I think about you every night. I still hear your voice. I still remember your laugh. I kept your letter. I read it too. Yes, I got it. Maya helped me find it. She's the reason I knew you were still waiting." I looked at the letter again. There were small watermarks on the paper. He had cried too. "I'm getting better," he wrote. "The treatment is working. Slowly. But it's working. I want to see you again. I don't know when. I don't even know if you want that. But I had to write to you. Because love does not end like that. It stays." I held the letter to my chest. I didn't care about the time he was gone. I didn't care about the silence. I only cared that he was alive and that he still loved me. I stood up and walked to the window. The world outside was the same, but something inside me had changed. Hope came back. I wrote him a letter the same night. I said, "Come back when you can. I'm still here. I'm not afraid." Days passed. I waited by the door like a child. Every knock, every footstep made me jump. I cleaned the house twice a day. I wanted everything to be perfect. I made tea for two, even though I drank both cups. Maya came over often. She smiled but looked worried. "Don't hope too much," she said. "You've waited long enough." I just smiled. I know, but love waits. One Sunday morning, I heard a soft knock. I froze. I knew that knock. I ran to the door. My hands were shaking. I opened it slowly. There he was. Peter. Thinner. Paler. but still him. His eyes were tired, but they were still warm. We didn't speak. We just looked at each other. Then I stepped forward and hugged him. He held me like he was afraid I would disappear. We stood like that for a long time. No words, just breath. We sat on the sofa. He looked around the room and smiled. "It hasn't changed," he said. I looked at him. "You have?" He nodded. "Yes, but some things stayed." He looked at me when he said that. I made tea. He held the cup with both hands. "I missed your tea," he whispered. "I missed your voice," I whispered back. That evening, he told me everything. About the night he found out. About the hospital visits. About the fear. He said he didn't want me to see him weak. He didn't want me to carry his pain. I told him, "You were never a burden. You were love." He held my hand. "I was scared," he said. "But now, being without you scares me more." He stayed for 3 days. We talked. We laughed. Sometimes we cried. He showed me the medicines he still had to take. He said, "I'm not fully okay, but I'm better." I said, "Then that's enough." On the second night, I read him my old poems. He asked me to write a new one, just for him. I said I already did. It was in my heart. He smiled. "Then read it." The morning he had to leave again, I walked with him to the station. He held my hand tightly. "I'll be back," he said. "Next time, not just for 3 days." I kissed his cheek. "I'll wait," I said. "No matter how long." He looked at me for a long time. "You are my home, Anna." After he left, I felt both full and empty. I had him again, but I also missed him more now, because now I knew the truth, and I knew his time might not be easy. I wrote him every week. He replied when he could. The letters became our lifeline. In one of them, he wrote, "Every time I feel tired, I think of your voice. It gives me strength." But life was not simple. After a few months, the letters stopped again. This time, I didn't panic. I waited. I believed. And after 6 long weeks, I got another letter. This one was short. It said, "Treatment is hard. I'm weak. But don't worry. You gave me your heart, and I carry it every day." I knew then that love is not just about being near. It's about holding someone in your soul, even when they're far, even when they're silent. Peter became a part of my life in a quiet way, like a song that never leaves your mind. He wasn't beside me, but he was inside everything I did. One day, I went to the small bookshop in his town. I stood outside just to feel closer to him. The shop owner saw me and asked, "Are you Anna?" I was surprised. I said yes. He smiled and handed me a small notebook. "Peter told me to give this to you if you ever came." My hand shook as I took it. It was a diary. Inside, it was filled with letters, and all written to me. Every page began with "Dear Anna." I sat on a bench and read for hours. Some letters were written when he was scared, some when he felt strong, some when he was in pain, but all of them had love. On the last page he wrote, "If you are reading this, then you came. You really came. Thank you. I love you more than words, more than poems, more than distance. And if I'm not there when you read this, please know, I was yours completely." I closed the book. I didn't cry. I just held it to my chest. I whispered, "I love you too." I sat there until the sun went down, and in the silence, I felt him with me. I returned home with the notebook in my bag and Peter in my heart. The walk from the train station felt longer that day. The streets looked the same, but I was not the same. That notebook had changed something. I had touched his words, held his feelings in my hands. And though I didn't know what would come next, I felt closer to him than ever before. Every evening, I read one letter from that book. I didn't rush. I wanted to feel every line, every word he had written for me. It was like hearing his voice again. He told me about the long nights in the hospital, about the nurses, the smell of medicine, the moments he felt strong, and the moments he almost gave up. He told me he thought of me when he was cold. He pictured me sitting by a window with tea. He wrote, "You are my light. When everything goes dark, I close my eyes and imagine your smile." Some days I laughed while reading. Other days I cried so hard I couldn't finish a page. But I always felt safe. His letters wrapped around me like a blanket. It became my routine. I woke up. I worked. I came home. I read one letter. And I waited. I waited for another knock. A message. A call. Anything. One day, weeks later, I got a call from a number I didn't know. My heart jumped. I answered. It wasn't Peter. It was his sister. Her voice was soft. "Anna?" she asked. "Yes," I said. She paused. "Peter wanted me to call you." I sat down. She said, "He asked for you. A lot. He held your notebook. He smiled when he looked at your photo." I closed my eyes. "Is he okay?" I asked. She didn't speak for a moment. "He passed away yesterday," she said. The room spun. My hands went cold. I felt like my body wasn't mine. "No," I whispered. "No, no, no." But she kept talking. She said he had been strong for so long. He had kept fighting. She said he had asked for me. Even in pain, he said my name. He held the notebook. He said, "Give her my words." I didn't remember the rest of the call. I don't remember what I said, or how long I cried. All I remember is sitting on the floor, holding the phone, shaking. The person I loved most was gone, but he had left me something no one else ever had. His heart, his truth, his voice in letters. The days after felt empty. I didn't eat much. I didn't talk. Maya stayed with me for a few nights. She cooked. She held my hand. She read some of the letters out loud when I couldn't. "He loved you," she said again and again. He really did. I knew it was true. That made it harder, but also softer. A week later, I got another envelope in the mail. Inside, there was a key and a note from his sister. "He left something for you. It's at the bookshop. He wanted you to have it." The next day, I went back to the shop. The owner gave me a small wooden box. It was old but clean. Inside were pages of unfinished writing, stories, poems, letters, and all from Peter. Some were dreams, some were fears, some were just memories written down. And on top was one letter, sealed with red wax. It was for me. I opened it with shaking hands. It said, "My Anna, if you are reading this, I'm not there anymore. I hate that. But I know you are strong. You always were. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for every message, every word, every bit of hope you gave me. I want you to keep living. I want you to smile again. I want you to find happiness, even if it looks different now. I don't want to be your ending. I want to be your beginning. Please write again. Share our story. Not for me, for you, for love." I closed my eyes and cried. But this time the tears were warm. Not just sad. There was love in them. I stayed in the bookshop for hours that day. I read everything. I smelled the old pages. I felt him everywhere. He had left a piece of himself behind, and he wanted me to carry it forward. That night, I wrote. For the first time in a long time, I wrote something new. Not a letter. A story. Our story. I didn't care if anyone read it. I just needed to let it out. The pain. The beauty. The love. It flowed from me like rain. Weeks passed. Then months. The pain didn't leave, but it changed. It became part of me. It sat in my chest, quietly, like a soft ache. But it didn't stop me from walking, from smiling again, from breathing deeper. One evening, Maya and I were having tea. She looked at me and said, "You look different." I smiled. "I feel different?" She reached across the table and touched my hand. "You were lucky, Anna. You got real love." I nodded. Yes, even if it didn't last forever, it was real. I visit the bookshop sometimes. I sit in the back and read. I talk to the new owner who says Peter's name with care. Sometimes I see customers pick up the old story notebook he left behind. I wonder if they feel the magic I feel when I read his words. And I keep writing. Every story I write now holds a piece of Peter, a line, a thought, a memory. I carry him with me, not in sadness, but in love. He didn't stay, but he didn't leave me either. He became a part of who I am. Love doesn't always end with a kiss or a wedding. Sometimes it ends with a letter, with a voice that lives in your heart, with a journey of two hearts that met by chance and stayed connected forever. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon.